Star Master here at Redrock Center. Before I begin my presentation, I'm hoping that more and more people will offer to do presentations as time goes on. Pick a subject and go for it. In fact, when I do a presentation, the hardest struggle that I have is what am I going to talk about and where do I get the info for that? And today I believe I'm going to use the same format that Crown Master Jason Shim used at our last one-day seminar. It seems to be very popular, and it's hopefully going to be a little bit interesting to some of you. So what he talked about was when, how, and why he got involved with Atomy. And so I plan on doing the same. I'll give you a little background information about how I and my wife, in fact, together got involved with Atomy. But before I do, I want to warn you that I'm going to use a couple of nasty four-letter words in my presentation, like the word lazy and dumb. So that's going to offend some people, but it shouldn't, because it's just something that happens to everybody at one time or another. But let me start with my background information, my family background information. I was born March 2nd, in 1950, on a cold Tuesday morning, I'm told by my mother, in Biddeford, Maine. I have 5 brothers and a sister. My father died when I was 16 years old, and since I was the oldest son at home, I inherited the household management responsibilities. And this experience caused me to learn a lot about managing a household and the finances. And it also helped me develop what I would say would be early conservative attitude towards financing. By conservative, I mean, I felt that there should always be a reliable flow of money coming in all the time. And every household should have a very reliable financial game plan and a budget every time, all the time. You can't just fly by the seat of your pants and expect money to be there when you need it, because it isn't always going to happen. Security at that time was the most important thing in the world to me back then. Anyways, a few years went by, and at 19, I was drafted into the Army during the Vietnam War time zone. And then when that was completed, I came back to Maine, where I used the GI Bill to get my accounting degree at the University of Maine in Portland. In my senior year as a college student, I started looking early to find what I would consider a good, secure employer that would pay a good salary and would, most importantly, offer some sort of pension upon retirement. Again, I was very conservative, and that was, something I felt I wanted to do the rest of my life, is make sure I had security. So now, while I was in the Army, I didn't especially like being a soldier, but I did like the Army infrastructure, and with all its rules and regulations, that fit me very well. I didn't mind that one bit. I also liked the fact that the Army had bases all over the world. And at that time, I had a little travel bug, since I was, like I said, only about 19 or 20 years old. So anyways, it took me a while to find an accounting job with the government. And I finally found an accounting job at Fort Devens in Massachusetts, where I learned about military accounting, which is different from civilian accounting, as Lewis will certainly know, and how to find a job outside the United States. Again, that was still a priority of mine. So it wasn't long before I was able to maneuver a job at the NATO headquarters in Brussels, Belgium. I was there for 4 or 5 years. And then I moved to Augsburg, Germany, in the Bavarian region, was a very beautiful location. I was there for another 4.5 years, I believe. Then I went to Seoul, Korea, where I met my wife, Kay, and we got married. I was just gonna say, I get in parentheses in my notes here, that was the best investment I ever made. And then I was there for 10 years total. And then she and I, we moved to New Jersey. where I deployed 3 times to Iraq and once to Afghanistan. And then finally, we moved to Maryland, where I retired after nearly 40 years of Army service. I was quite happy about that, to be honest with you. I enjoyed the Army job, but it was a time to have a little fun and relaxation, as they say. So Kay and I immediately drove to Las Vegas to start our new lifestyle. I didn't know anything about Atomy at the time, except that Kay's high school friend Hanan, who still lives in Canada, introduced her to Atomy. Kay was very impressed and wanted to be an Atomy business owner right away. She knew a good thing when she saw it. It was at that time, however, that I became that 4-letter word, lazy and somewhat dumb, and should have, done my Atomy homework at that time, but I didn't. I was living in exciting Las Vegas. I was happily retired with a comfortable pension, and my wife had found some business that she really liked. Now, little did I realize at the time that this Atomy company that she was so much in love with was one of the best opportunities ever, as it was right in front of my face. I kind of ignored it for a couple of years until I started doing research and found it to be a fantastic company in every way. At first, I supported Kay logistically, in that I drove her to many of her nail salons and entertainment events so she could introduce people to Atomy. And I mean, she really had her heart set on being successful. She would go into nail salons and talk to anybody who would listen. And we went to different events. I think she met Edna at a ABBA concert at one of the casinos. And so, she really put her heart into being a successful Atomy business owner. At the beginning, it took her a while to understand the compensation and money-making procedures, like anybody would, like I did when I started working with the Army. You have to learn what you can. I lost my Zoom feature here. Let me see. Want to make sure I'm still connected to everybody. Okay, great, thank you. And then that's when she started learning a lot more about, the management part of it and the compensation part. And the compensation benefits for Atomy are just in a world of its own. It's fantastically generous, very fair, and very competitive. Anyways, as for me, it was a slow start. When I look back, I remember, lacking my normal self-confidence, as I was a little bit outside my normal comfort zone. And at times, I have to admit that I did think about giving up, because it was so slow and happening at the beginning. I would never think that way now, but when you're just starting something, yeah, you're a little bit tempted to again, try to find the easy way out. This was my lazy nature taking control. This lack of perseverance and thinking of quitting is still a problem with a lot of Atomy members today. Please don't give up. Don't think about it, because Atomy has everything going for it. And you just look at the facts. Giving up would be the biggest failure you ever committed in your whole life. Atomy has proven itself to be a top-notch company with the highest quality products and the best prices. And that goes without saying. I don't want to get into talking about the products too much or the prices. I'll leave that to the smarter people like Louis and Gary. But at the same time, they are the best in the world. They are in a class of their own. And anybody who takes Atomy products will tell you that there's no competition per se. Another problem that seems to come up though these days is, expecting quick financial results is really a big mistake when you're an Atomy member. It takes a minute to think of all, or I should say, take a minute to think of all the good things that's happened to you or someone that you know. And can you actually say that these good fortunes happen quickly, or did they take months or even years? I look at myself, with my pension, it took me 40 years to make the pension that the Crown Master Jason Shim makes now in one week, or I should say 1 month. But it was worth putting in the years to get that pension because I will have that money coming in for the rest of my life, no matter what happens. Mr. Shim is going to have the same deal the rest of his life. And what is better for him than I have is the fact that he can carry it down to his children and his grandchildren, 3 generations. I can't do that with my pension. My pension, when I pass away, it doesn't go entirely away, but I can't pass it down to my kids. So that is something, again, that the compensation plan, offers that few companies, in fact, as far as I know, no company can offer. Now, many of the success books that I've read over the years confirms that, the lack of self-confidence and perseverance, is a common problem for many people because they don't really understand or take the time to understand, the financial needs or financial patience you need, and to become a successful business owner of any kind. Again, please fight the urge to be lazy and just give up and say, I'll find something that doesn't take so long to make a lot of money. You may be lucky enough to find something, but I really kind of doubt it. It's not that easy. And Atomy makes it so available for you to grow with its programs that you really need to give it a chance. Don't be too impatient. Now, one of the other things I wanted to mention was attending Atomy seminars and Zoom meetings. When you become a little bit too lazy, it's easy to just say, "Oh, I don't have any time right now. I'll catch the next Zoom meeting," or I have something better to do than to go to a one-day seminar that night. I'm tired. I worked all day. Those are legitimate reasons, I know, but at the same time, if you want to benefit from generous packages, financial packages, and others that Atomy offers, you really need to try to fight that lazy option that most people have. Go to the website. The website is also a great place to get information from all the programs that Atomy provides, like the auto sales program and other programs that are constantly available. And the best place to see all of that and keep up with all that kind of news is the website. I don't want to get into the technical features of the website, but from the little I know, it is a very powerful tool, which is very, very user-friendly. And best of all, it's free. Like so many Atomy benefits are free. You don't have to ever pay for anything. All you have to do is get in gear and use the products that are available. Now, in closing, I just want to share with you 2 of the most important skills I learned while I was working for the government all those years. Those 2 skills were leadership, which I put in parentheses, teamwork, and management skills. If there's one thing that the Army does well, is it has a lot of meetings. It has a meeting to have a meeting. But it's really necessary because over the years, it's been verified that, having a lot of meetings does actually work. It keeps people updated. It's been very effective, for everyone to accomplish the same goals. It's hard to just say, yeah, let's talk about doing this and maybe a phone call. It's so much better if you can have a face-to-face meeting. At these meetings, at least when the Army, the commander, or in this case, in Atomy, a sponsor, presents a strategy like our Atomy membership, or mastership challenges. These things have to be coordinated. We have a window of opportunity, and everybody has to know what their responsibilities are. And all the participants have to agree in order to move forward. And if you can work as a team, that is one thing that every speaker is always claimed is the key to success with Atomy. You got to have teamwork. One of the key factors of having good teamwork is good communications and leadership action. If leaders don't stay in close contact with their team members and support and encourage them to not only attend meetings and seminars, but also to become, familiar with their goals and to stay in touch with each other. And it's really easy to do. Leaders, just need to get together with their downline once a week even, and just talk, even if it is a phone call. Just talk, but face to face or Zoom might be even more effective. Support your downline, and I can almost guarantee you that you will all benefit in the long term. When people act as a team, they support each other. You help each other with points. The whole gamut. It all falls back on leadership skills. Now, when I went into retirement mode, I was a little worried about becoming, a little bit of a couch potato. But instead, I found Atomy. With its dynamic products and growing attitude, and it does have a great attitude. I mean, it's always coming up with new concept. It's expanding to more and more countries all the time. This isn't just a fly-by-night outfit. It's taken a lot of planning, thought. The distribution system is top of the chart. It's a wonderful global company, and it's changing, in so many ways. And that's one of the things I wanted to bring out. We live in a changing world. I think we can all admit to that, especially these days with AI. I mean, every day it seems like there's something coming up with AI where people are losing jobs. AI is making life easier for some people, but at the same time, more difficult for others. And it's taking away a lot of high-paying jobs and a lot of futures that people, used to depend on. Atomy doesn't have that problem. Everybody has a need for the day-to-day products that Atomy offers. And as you know, Atomy is expanding its product line tremendously to housewares, to food in certain countries, to skincare products, to healthcare products. And again, these are all top-notch products. So all I can say is, please don't give up, because you're never going to find a better business. And so, in fact, I say, not only don't give up, but please redouble your efforts. Because the more energy you put into it now, the sooner you'll be able to retire on what I would call an Atomy pension. And, and that's something that we all look forward to. I'm also told that it's a great feeling to be rich, and I want to find out for myself, and I'd like to do it with all of you. All I can say is that I never would have met most of you guys if it wasn't for Atomy. So that's a blessing as far as I'm concerned. And what Crown Master Mr. Shim, kept reminding us at his one-day seminar is the importance of teamwork, and how it helped him go from being a poor salesperson a few years ago to being quite rich today. I always say the same, or try to end saying the same. We are in the right place at the right time. So let's all get rich together. And I'm going to go with Aja go, Aja go. Thank you for your time.